Welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars V19 Torrent Starfighter. It is set number 75432, comes with 567 pieces, is rated ages 9 and up. This set retails for $64.99 in the US and $84.99 in Canada. This set is based off of Star Wars The Clone Wars animated series and features brand new minifigures of Obi Wan Kenobi, Assaj Ventress, and finally an accurate clone trooper pilot. This is DJ Bricks. Let's get into it. Taking a look at the box, and you can see the V19 Torrent Starfighter flying through space in a space battle here with some explosions in the background. Now this is correctly identified as a Clone Wars set with the Ahsoka clone trooper on the front there. You have the 3 characters included in the set as well. Now flipping the box around, you actually have the V19 Torrent landed in some sort of hangar bay, presumably a Venator hangar bay, but doesn't really matter. You have Obi-Wan and Assaj Ventress fighting it out with the assistance of the clone pilot to shoot at Ventress there. You have the main play functionality of the being able to put it into landing mode or flying mode, which is pretty nice there shown on the box. Now take a look at the manual here. As you can see, it is a rendered image. I always bring this up just because I don't like it. It just doesn't look as good because you can clearly tell, especially with the minifigures, that they are fake. It doesn't take away anything from the building experience. It just doesn't look or feel as premium of a product as it used to. In the back, though, it will have advertising of the other summer 2025 LEGO Star Wars sets. So all the ones that are released alongside this set, as you can see there. And here we have the extra pieces as left to fall in the build. Of course, you have your brick separator, and then a nice collection of different pieces, including, of course, an extra LEGO Star Wars pistol, a couple of lightsaber hilts with an extra one of Ventress's sabers, and then, of course, a pretty standard chrome one here. And then also some kind of interesting extra parts here, as, you know, these are extra. Normally, we wouldn't have pieces as large as these, but I found in a lot of cases they are including these as the extra pieces now, so kind of interesting there. But overall, just pieces you can add to your collection for free. Taking a look at our first minifigure, we have Assaj Ventress, and this is a brand new version of Ventress, as this is inspired by her early Clone Wars look from the early seasons of Clone Wars and the Clone Wars movie. Overall, this is a very nice minifigure, I have to say. Love the purple design. Obviously, you have, you know, this the black to symbolize, you know, it not being there because LEGO doesn't want to make a specialized, you know, minifigure torso for female characters. But still looks pretty nice. You actually have some nice printing on the legs there. Very accurate to how we see her in the early Clone Wars seasons there. And back printing looks excellent as well. And of course, she has her 2 dual lightsabers that I always love that you could connect, and I'll show that right now. Like, you can't connect it like where it'll stay, but you can fit them into spot where they look like they are, because they are meant to like be attached and then detached, as we see her do early on in the Clone Wars series. And you can kind of see there, looks really nice that you can do that. Obviously, very long as well, and probably not exactly size accurate to how it's supposed to be, but still looks really cool that you can do that. And of course, then you can have them detach. And again, it's not like they're locked in place or anything, but I always like that you could represent that with those pieces being correctly curved like that. Next up, we have probably the best Clone Wars Obi-Wan we have ever gotten in terms of the level of detail on him, from his torso to his legs and arm printing, matching kind of what we got with that Mace Windu from the Republic fighter tank a few years ago, with the Republic insignia on the arm there. Just looks excellent, just top-notch printing from LEGO here. And he is given a double-sided face print, as you can see here, with him, you know, in a more angry, or maybe not angry, but focused face when he is fighting Ventress here. And our final minifigure is an accurate, or at least 90% accurate clone pilot here. And overall, great minifigure. Love the torso, regular clone trooper legs, back printing also pretty standard, but it is the brand new helmet mold, which has people talking. Obviously, very good and a lot better than what we used to get when it had incorrectly the fin on the top there, so glad to see that fixed. Obviously, this was a heavily requested figure for the UCS Republic gunship, but in the end, LEGO did not give that to us, and a lot of controversy then for what they said about it, but they have rectified that wrong. Now, of course, LEGO still has limitations or just laziness with their printing, as this yellow fin should be going farther back on the helmet instead of stopping, you know, not even at the halfway point, really. Like that's kind of more crazy to me, is the fact it's not even a centimeter farther, or maybe a millimeter might be a better term there, because like you would think they'd be able to go to at least the halfway point of the helmet, but they stop it even earlier than I think they could have. And that's the only thing that limits this helmet. Underneath is going to be just a standard Republic clone trooper head that we are used to getting these days. Now let's take a look at the V19 Torrent, and obviously right now it is in its landed mode. Now, unfortunately, I did not end up getting the original Clone Wars V19 Torrent, honestly, because I just didn't really like the look of it. I thought it was kind of silly that they had the V19 Torrent and not like an ARC-170 in the Clone Wars movie, for instance. You know, I didn't like the V19 Torrents early on in the Clone Wars series, so in the end I just never got that set, and looking back I kind of regret it because I've grown to love this ship, and that set is absolutely outstanding. Now this one is heavily downscaled compared to that previous version, as has been noted. There's a lot of things that they cut from this set that the other set had, unfortunately, such as the spring-loaded, you know, moving the wings into position, and of course landing gear, official landing gear. Here you got, I mean, this is your landing gear basically, not retractable, of course, like the old one had, and just frankly, just the proportions on this set are kind of off. It is pretty accurate in this position, to be honest. They do line up quite well, but it is when it's in flying mode that it is kind of wrong, which I guess is fine, since you're probably mostly going to have this in landing mode anyways on display and just showing it going into flying mode. But still, overall, that is something to note. Now, of course, you can flick open the wings, as that is probably to be expected. You have the correct yellow windshield piece, as that is actually what's supposed to be in universe. And you also correctly have the only singular Republic insignia on the one side, as the other side would be blank like this. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, the whites do not line up at all. Very noticeable, and just, you know, just a piece that LEGO could easily print but choose not to. Just, you know, again, money hungriness, you know, just affecting that, because at the end of the day, to print that part wouldn't have ate into their profit margin on this set. Now, taking a look at the front, you do have a couple nice sticker details here, as you can see, to represent the front engine pieces, looking pretty nicely there. And then flipping the set around, you do have some pretty nice engine design, in my opinion. It's very simple with the barrels, but I really like the look. And then you also have what I kind of consider this sort of propulsion piece, and then obviously also the engine piece up here when you flip it around. So very nice use of these parts. I think it does look pretty good. I do like the use of the cannons. Obviously, you do have your standard stud shooters that you quite simply just press on the back, and then they'll shoot off. And that's why they give you so many extras in case you lose them, like I just lost that piece. Same on this other side, you know, and I mean, that one flew out too. Now, to put it into flying mode is very simple. You just quite literally put those wings down. They do lock into, well, not lock into place, but they do reach a point where they can't go any farther. And then you have this section here that you can pop out. And this does lock into place, as you can see with that white bar piece here, as there is a clip right here that it attaches to, and it locks in. And then there you go. And this is what I mean by it being slightly wrong proportionally, specifically in flying mode, as this is actually supposed to be a little bit longer than what they ended up doing here. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's still fine. And what's good is that it's very stable. You can swoosh this around quite easily and not worry about it grabbing it from the bottom. You don't have to worry that the set is going to fall apart in your hands at all. Like, that's the one thing with LEGO sets these days, is generally they are very sturdy. Now we'll put it back into landed mode and add our pilot. I'll actually just go like that. Obviously, you can fit your pilot inside quite simply. You just open up the cockpit piece like so, and you grab your pilot. Inside there's actually a sticker piece as well, as you can see, for the controls. Looking pretty nice overall. and you just fit your pilot inside when he wants to go in. There we go. Lean him back, and he's ready to go. And he looks pretty good, I have to say. I'll just go like that, and you can kind of see he's not leaning too far back like some other sets sometimes are. Now, lastly, I just want to bring up my one pet peeve on all LEGO sets these days, and it comes down to, as I knock off the engine piece, generally it's pretty stable, but I mean, it is only connected very loosely, as you can see there, so that piece can come off, I guess, is the one part that, you know, moves kind of easily. But overall, like, I'd be more worried about the wings, and those are very stable. You know, I'm not worried at all about those. But as I was saying, the one pet peeve I have, and this is for all LEGO sets, is when they do this stuff where they use the color of these Technic pieces instead of making it, you know, white or even gray. Like, I think the gray works. They change it to blue. Now, this is a 10+ rated set, and I feel like it, like, at a certain point, you don't need to have it be that obvious. You know, like, the reason they do these different colors is to make it easier in the building process. But to me, I don't think you need to do that on sets like these anymore. I genuinely don't. I feel like this piece should be printed or molded in white, so it's a little bit more hidden and just would look better, because obviously there isn't a blue marking on the ship here, and it just becomes slightly distracted. You have some more blue parts here. Obviously, when it's, again, I knocked off this piece, shows you that, like I said, that's the most breakout part of the ship. But like here, it's not going to matter too much because mostly it's going to be either landed or going to be flipped around here. But it's still, I don't know, it's just a pet peeve of mine. Just why not mold it in white? It's gonna still be easily identifiable, in my opinion. I just don't see it being an issue, and just would wish LEGO would change it to make it so if it's going to be visible, it is at least somewhat matching the color. Like, obviously this one, I'm fine with it being black, but here I don't see why these parts have to be blue. I just don't. The LEGO Star Wars V19 Torrent Starfighter, to me, is a pretty good LEGO set, and honestly might be one of my favorite ones in this summer lineup. Its problem is probably its price. It just feels about $10 overpriced, to be honest. It's not by much, and it's definitely a set that will go on sale. In fact, this is a set I did get on sale, and I feel like I got it for a pretty good price during the Amazon Prime Day sales here in Canada, and it's just something, you know, all LEGO sets, regardless, will go on sale in some way, whether it's through LEGO with double points or even on sale outright, and then at other retailers. Always don't recommend getting these sets on sale, because at the end of the day, I feel like they're inherently overpriced to begin with these days, which again feels like a, you know, bad move on LEGO's end, but if they're making money, they don't care. With that being said, that's all my opinion. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this set in the comments down below. Please leave a like and subscribe if you have enjoyed, and have a great day, everyone.